Ever find yourself facing a choice, a really tough one, where everything you value seems to be pulling you in different directions? Duty, family, what feels right. It can leave you feeling, well, stuck.
That's kind of the core dilemma we're diving into today. We're looking at the Bhagavad Gita. It's this
Mm-hmm.
ancient dialogue from India,
Mm-hmm.
and we're using some key excerpts translated from Marathi. But it's way more than just history.
Oh, absolutely.
It feels like a masterclass for navigating life's big challenges.
Yeah.
So our mission here is to unpack its foundational ideas, its practical wisdom, really, to help you get quickly up to speed on what makes it so timeless.
Yeah, and what's fascinating truly is how it takes potentially millennia of wisdom and just distills it into this one conversation. And it still feels remarkably relevant,
Yeah.
for anyone facing a dilemma. It's often called the secret knowledge within the text itself.
The secret knowledge, wow.
Yeah, it points to that depth. It's like a shortcut to being well-informed about some really core philosophical principles that can genuinely shift how you see things. Okay, so let's set the scene. It's dramatic. A huge battlefield right before a massive war.
Right of a cup.
And our main figure, Arjuna, he's this incredible warrior, but he looks across the battlefield and sees, well, his own family, his teachers, friends, all lined up on both sides, ready to fight.
Imagine that.
And it just breaks him. He's completely overwhelmed, overcome by despair. You can almost feel it in the text, his body trembling, mouth dry. He actually says, "My limbs give way. I do not see good in killing my kinsmen. I desire no victory, nor kingdom, nor happiness."
Such powerful words.
Yeah. And then, flat out, he declares, "I will not fight." He just puts down his bow, he's paralyzed, and that's when he turns to Krishna, who's acting as his charioteer, and asks for guidance.
In this moment, Arjuna's Vishada, his despondency, it's not just about that war. If we zoom out, it really represents something universal.
Like an existential crisis.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
speaks to anyone facing a huge challenge or maybe a moral crossroads where every option feels wrong.
Yeah.
It really pushes that question. What do you do when your values seem to clash so fundamentally?
So Krishna's response, where does he even begin?
Well, he starts by shifting Arjuna's whole perspective on life and death. It's quite a pivot. His first major teaching is about the difference between the body, which is temporary, perishable, and the soul, the Atma, which is eternal, imperishable.
Ah, okay.
He says something like, the wise don't grieve for the living or the dead, because our real identity isn't tied up in this physical form.
So it's about understanding what's truly real.
Precisely. He explains transmigration, how the soul moves through different stages like childhood, youth, old age, and then into another body. He says, the wise are not deluded by this, and emphasizes how invulnerable the soul is. Weapons cannot cut it, fire cannot burn it.
Water cannot wet it, wind cannot try it. I remember that line. It's striking.
It really is. And that's the foundational aha moment. If the soul, our true self, is eternal, then death isn't an end. It's just a change.
Like changing clothes.
Exactly. The text uses that very analogy, swapping old clothes for new ones. The person inside stays the same. And when you start to grasp that, it really encourages some critical thinking about what we truly value, what we're actually afraid of. Fear of loss starts to look very different.
Okay, so if the soul is eternal and death is just a transition, what does that mean for, doing things, for acting in the world?
Right, that's the next logical step. Krishna transitions from the nature of the soul to how we should act. And this leads to karma yoga.
Karma yoga. Action and wisdom. Is that the idea?
That's a great way to put it. It's about performing your duty, doing what you need to do, but without being attached to the results.
But why is action so necessary? Can't we just not act?
Well, Krishna says that's basically impossible. No one can remain without action even for a moment. We're sort of pushed to act by our own nature, by these inherent qualities the text calls gunas.
Ah, the gunas. We'll come back to those, I bet.
We will. But the core of karma yoga, or nishkama karma, is this. Perform duty detached, treat success and failure equally. This equanimity is yoga.
Equanimity, so balance regardless of outcome. That sounds hard.
It is. But here's the surprising benefit Krishna mentions. In this yoga, effort never goes in vain, nor is there any adverse effect. Even a little bit of practice, he says, frees you from great fear.
Wow. No wasted effort, freedom from fear. That sounds pretty appealing.
It really does. And think about it today, it's like a powerful antidote to burnout, right? This idea of acting without being constantly obsessed with the fruits of the action.
So you're not saying don't act or don't care.
Not at all. It's about reframing your motivation, giving your absolute best, being fully engaged, but without letting your peace of mind be totally dependent, whether you succeed or fail by external standards. It really makes you ask, can you truly give your all without that constant need for a specific result?
That's a deep question. Does the text give practical examples of this kind of action?
It does. It mentions specific yagnas, or sacrifices, that are forms of karma yoga, like Gita Path, the daily reading or study of scriptures, like the Gita itself, Puranas, Ramayana. That's seen as a knowledge sacrifice, Jnana Yagna.
Interesting. Knowledge as an action.
And also Japa Yagna, the constant repetition or chanting of mantras, like Hare Krishna. These are actions performed with that same spirit of detachment offered up.
Okay, you mentioned the gunas earlier, these inherent qualities that compel action. Can we dig into those a bit?
Absolutely. This is another really insightful layer. The Gita talks about 3 fundamental qualities, or forces of nature: sattva, rajas, and tamas.
Sattva, rajas, tamas.
And Krishna says these 3 bind us, the imperishable soul, to the body. They influence pretty much everything, our actions, how we see the world, even where we might end up after death, according to the text.
Bind us. How so? Can you break them down?
Sure. So sattva is the quality of goodness, light, harmony. It tends to bind you through attachment to happiness and knowledge. It brings clarity.
Okay, that sounds good.
It is, relatively speaking. But it's still a form of binding. Then there's rajas, that's passion, energy, activity, desire. It binds you through attachment to action itself and the fruits or results of that action. Lots of drive, maybe restlessness.
Right. Always needing to do something.
Exactly. And finally, tamas. This is inertia, ignorance, darkness, delusion. It binds through things like heedlessness, laziness, sleep, misunderstanding.
So understanding these gunas, it's like a framework for self-awareness.
Precisely. It's not about judging, oh, that's tamasic or rajasic, but about discerning the underlying forces driving our own behavior and others. Why do people act the way they do? How does our own nature sort of push us? The Gita mentions how our own nature compels us.
And the goal isn't just to understand them, but
to transcend them, to go beyond their influence and attain a state of pure consciousness, or supreme bliss, as the Gita puts it.
Okay, this is deep stuff. Now let's shift focus a bit towards the divine itself. Krishna reveals his own nature, doesn't he?
He does. And it's a pivotal part of the Gita. He reveals himself not just as Arjuna's friend and guide, but as the supreme reality, the source, the sustainer of everything.
The Purushottama, the supreme person.
That's the term used. He states his omnipresence quite directly. There is no higher truth than Krishna. This entire world is strung on Krishna like pearls on a thread.
Wow, like pearls on a thread. That's a powerful image.
It is. And then comes one of the most mind-blowing moments in the entire text. Arjuna asks to see Krishna's universal form, his cosmic self.
And Krishna shows him. What's that like?
The description is, well, it defies description. The text says something like, if 1,000 suns were to rise simultaneously in the sky, their light might not equal the effulgence of that universal form.
1,000 suns. I can't even imagine.
Exactly. It's meant to convey something beyond human comprehension. Infinite mouths, infinite eyes, dazzling, terrifying, beautiful all at once.
How does Arjuna react?
He is completely stunned, astonished, hair standing on end, but also terrified. He starts praising Krishna, but also begs forgiveness for having treated him so casually before, like just a friend, not realizing his supreme majesty.
Yet this vision, the Vishwarupa Darshana, it isn't just for show. It's another profound aha moment.
In what way?
It hammers home the idea of divine omnipresence and power in a way that intellectual understanding can't. It shows that the divine isn't limited to one form we can easily grasp. It is everything, all existence.
It really expands your idea of what God or supreme reality could even mean.
Absolutely. It challenges our everyday assumptions about reality itself.
So amidst all this philosophy, the nature of the soul, action, the gunas, the universal form, does the Gita offer maybe a simpler path?
It does, and this is really significant. It presents Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotion, as arguably the most direct and accessible route to the divine.
Easier than, say, intense meditation or complex philosophy. That's how Krishna presents it. He says, those devotees who fix their minds on me and constantly worship me with supreme faith are considered by me to be the most perfect yogis. There's a clear preference stated.
And it emphasizes simplicity too, right?
Beautifully simple. There's a lovely verse. Whoever offers me with love a leaf, a flower, a fruit, water. I accept that offering from the pure-minded, desireless devotee. It's about the intention, the love, not the grandeur of the offering.
That makes it feel very inclusive.
Extremely. And Krishna gives this incredible assurance. My devotee never perishes. That's a powerful promise.
So why is this path of devotion considered so effective, maybe even superior in some ways, especially today with so much information around?
That's a great question. I think the Gita suggests it's because bhakti directly aligns the heart and mind with the Supreme. It cuts through a lot of the complexity. It simplifies the journey towards liberation by focusing on that loving connection.
And you mentioned inclusivity.
Yes, this is revolutionary. The text explicitly says that anyone, even those considered low birth in the social context of the time, women, merchants, laborers, even outcasts, can reach the supreme destination by taking refuge in Krishna through devotion.
Wow, so it breaks down social barriers.
Completely. It underscores its universal accessibility.
Yep.
And practical bhakti practices mentioned include things like daily writing or chanting mantras, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, or the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Even just hearing them is considered a devotional act, a form of japa yagna.
Okay, now let's circle back to the Gita itself. The book, the text. It seems to hold a special power according to itself, right? These Mahatmya sections.
Yes, the Mahatmya, the glories of the Gita. These sections present the Gita not just as a collection of verses, but as the living transformative force.
What kind of things does it promise?
Some pretty amazing things, actually. Like
Huh.
wherever the Gita text is, all holy places reside. All deities, rishis, yogis, even Krishna himself are present where the Gita is.
So the book itself becomes sacred space.
That's the idea. It also talks about personal transformation. Just as lotus leaves aren't touched by water, one who meditates on the Gita isn't touched by great sins.
Protection from negativity, almost.
In a way. And it even outlines different levels of merit for studying it, from reciting just one verse up to all 18 chapters leading to heavenly realms or even ultimate liberation.
Are there more down-to-earth benefits mentioned?
There's a practical one.
Yeah.
One who combines work with Gita recitation completes all karma flawlessly, suggesting it aids even in worldly activities when done with the right consciousness.
So the message seems to be engage with this text deeply.
Exactly. It's not just about intellectual understanding. The Gita is presented almost like a living entity capable of purifying you. It connects to that core idea.
Yeah.
Knowledge is truly valuable when it's absorbed, understood, and applied.
Like drinking Gita nectar.
Yes, that's the metaphor used.
Yeah.
Reading or hearing it is like drinking this nectar that leads to eternal happiness. And the implication is neglecting this wisdom, especially when you have the chance in a human life, is like choosing poison instead.
Wow, strong words.
It highlights the perceived importance. Ultimately, it's described as the boat needed to cross the difficult ocean of suffering.
So bringing it all together, after this deep dive, what's the takeaway? It seems the Bhagavad Gita, starting from Arjuna's battlefield crisis, offers this incredibly rich tapestry of insights. Understanding our true nature, how to act wisely without attachment, the influence of inner qualities, and finding connection through devotion. It feels like a complete guide.
It really aims to be a guide for navigating whatever battlefield life throws at you.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that leaves us with a final thought, a question for you, the listener. The text emphasizes that knowledge is powerful when understood and applied.
Right.
So what's one small thing, one insight from this ancient wisdom that you could perhaps try to apply in your own life today, especially, in those moments of confusion or stress?
Mm-hmm.
Because, as a note in the Gita translation reminds us, getting a job or business, whether it brings good or bad luck, that's unknown. But forgetting the Supreme, forgetting Paramatman, that is definitely bad luck. Something to ponder.
That is definitely something to ponder. We really hope this exploration of the Bhagavad Gita has sparked some aha moments for you and maybe given you a shortcut to feeling more informed about this incredible text. We definitely encourage you to continue your own deep dive, see how these ancient truths might resonate in your modern journey. Thanks for joining us.